Harvard grads, of course, are very proud, and they should be, right? It was a degree that was worth attaining for many decades. I think a lot of us now understand that it is a joke. Part of the reason that it was very difficult for this board to fire her over plagiarism is she really wasn't hired because of her academic excellence and academic success. She was hired because of her race and her gender.
Classical Conversation Studios presents Refining Rhetoric with CEO Robert Bortons, a podcast where faith, business, politics, and classical education meet. Join us as we use the classical tools of rhetoric to seek truth in every arena of life.
Hey everyone, welcome back to 2024 and the Refining Rhetoric podcast. We are so excited that you're here. Would love for you to interact with us and tell us what you think and share episodes with friends, because that's how we get these episodes out and this content to the right people, because I believe these are things that we need to consider, that if you're a classical educator, if you're a Christian, that we need to really have a biblical worldview. And Barna says only about 4% of American citizens have a biblical worldview, and I'm not perfect, but we try to look at the news through these ideas and help explain why the world is the way it is and what is the world telling us, what's the world's wisdom versus what is God's wisdom. And we use those 15 tools of learning that we teach in classical conversations to really view what's going on. And over the past few years, whether it was the rise of Black Lives Matter and critical race theory and the Summer of Love in 2020, we have been talking about race a lot in our country, and that seems to have gone to the forefront of conversation since the Obama administration. And it's just been real interesting because while I didn't personally vote for Obama, I knew a lot of people did, and I think a lot of the hope in America at that time was that this would kind of be the final step of healing race relations, having a African-American president, and clearly that has not happened. And a lot of this is due to DEI, which is diversity, equality, and inclusion. And you've probably heard about Harvard's president, Claudine Gay, stepping down. It was found that nearly half or maybe over half of her published works were plagiarized, and she eventually stepped down after a lot of public pressure. It was a pretty sweet deal for her, though, not being reported widely. She still gets to keep her president's salary, so she's still making $900,000 a year teaching at Harvard. So apparently Harvard can't have a person who has plagiarized as president, but still okay to be a teacher there. And Bill Ackman, who is a billionaire hedge fund manager, Harvard grad, big donor to Harvard. He made news by pulling his funds from Harvard when this stuff became apparent, as well as just Harvard students supporting Palestine. And we've talked about that before. Why are so many students in the United States supporting Palestine instead of Israel? And of course, that's through the lens of critical race theory. And billionaire investor Bill Ackman has now asked the Harvard University board to resign. And so initially, Gay did not resign, President Gay, and the board, the Harvard board, actually backed her up and said, well, she probably just copied and pasted and forgot to change things, and it wasn't really true plagiarism, and they tried to make it, about all of these other things and tried to sweep it under the rug. But the public pressure, and I'm sure just the public embarrassment of being a Harvard grad, Harvard grads, of course, are very proud, and they should be, right? It was a degree that was worth attaining for many decades. I think a lot of us now understand that it is a joke, that they have no educational standards, that it is really just a place to get bad ideas and then try to perpetrate those on the rest of society. And just it's really formatted in this whole idea of having a president who is really got to her position through plagiarism, which is stealing other people's works and then lying about it. And so we can't really expect society to be having a firm foundation when our elite educational institutions are teaching these things. And so Ackman said the corporation board should not remain in their seats protected by the unusual governance structure which enable them to obtain their seat. And he had a lengthy post on X. And he's saying that the board chair, Penny Pritzker, should resign as well. And I agree with him. Like, the whole point of having a board of governors of any institution is to have an outside group of people giving feedback and holding you accountable for excellence and achieving your goals and making sure society or your organization is headed in the right direction. And this board has failed their students and have failed society in general by encouraging President Gay to not step down and instead doubling down and supporting her plagiarism. Now, unfortunately, Gay is one of the shortest hires or the shortest presidential tenure ever. Part of the reason that it was very difficult for this board to fire her over plagiarism is she really wasn't hired because of her academic excellence and academic success. She was hired because of her race and her gender. And that's a very sad, unfortunate reason. But her race and gender didn't change. So how are they going to fire her when the fundamental reason that they hired her has still remained the same? And so they were trying their best to keep her in position because they didn't hire her to lead Harvard to some new academic excellence, to improve the quality of education. Harvard grads, they hired her to check a box off. And that's really a testament to our society as a whole. By adopting critical race theory and DEI, it actually reduces the excellence, it reduces quality, it actually brings down achievements of certain individuals who check certain boxes, because why did they get promoted? Were they promoted, maybe you used to think, oh, that person got promoted because they're a white male and they're friends with the boss. Well, now we flip that over on its head and saying, oh, people are getting promoted for this reason or that reason that has no reason to do with their actual skill sets. And that really takes away the accomplishment of individuals who have excelled in their careers, who have legitimately earned these roles and these positions, and are successful because of the people they've surrounded themselves with, the work that they've put forth. And that is not something that is covered by any race or gender. That is due to the talent the Lord gives us and the talent that we then turn into more talents. And of course, we can do that through education, through working hard, through sacrifice, through dedication. And it just makes me sad that as a society, because of these corrupted ideas that we've really adopted through critical race theory and DEI, that now it's making accomplishments of individuals difficult to decipher of, did they really earn this, or were they just something that HR checked a box off and wanted to do? And of course, we are all made in the image of God, Imago Dei. We all are brothers and sisters in Christ. We're all princes and princesses if you're a believer. But more importantly, as a Christian, we believe in creation. So we had Adam and Eve. Man multiplied and went forth. Then there was the great flood, and then there was Noah's family. And then from Noah's family, all of us are together. So we're all distantly related. The pigment color of our skin is primarily due to the climate that we live in and just years of adaptation from the human body to, are you living in a desert area? Are you living in a cold area? Are you living in wooded area? So all of these factors over time, definitely from Noah till now, as we know, he took 2 by 2, it's changed how these, dogs, cats, everything came from like species. And so we are all related. We need to treat everyone equally, but society cannot correct the wrongs of the past by instituting new wrongs. And so it's really important and really fascinating to watch Harvard University, its alumni, and its president grapple with a worldview that is not biblical, that is not Christian, and see how it plays out in real time. And since I'm not a Harvard grad, and you're most likely not a Harvard grad, it doesn't necessarily look down or make us feel bad that our alma mater has really fallen so far. But it does give us an opportunity from the outside to view, without repercussions, perhaps in our own lives, the negative consequences of a worldview devoid of truth. And we know truth, of course, is Jesus Christ. He said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to the Father except through me." And so I just encourage everyone out there to continue to speak up and push against bad ideas, to treat everyone equitably and fair, and to love justice, to love mercy, and to love one another as Christ commanded. Until next time, be sure to share this podcast, and we will see you on the flip side. Hello, everyone. I'm hoping that I will see you at our National Events Weekend on May 2nd through 4th, 2024 in sunny Southern Pines, North Carolina. This is being presented by our Classical Conversations Foundation and is a time for CC families from around the nation to experience 3 days of events and learning about classical education and celebrating the hard work of fellow families on their homeschooling journey. Some of the major events we have are our national conference, where myself and my mom will be speaking along with other panels, such as a grad panel and a dad panel, and you'll hear a lot about the math map. We'll have a national commencement, so if you have a graduating senior, this year we've actually doubled the number of commencements, so we've added a second one so we can allow more people to come and celebrate with us, so be sure to look out for registration for that. And of course, we have the National Memory Master Competition, where one student will win $10,000. And it's such a fun time. And we are going to be opening that up to the public for the first time, so you can sit in and watch it. And it's going to be an exciting time. There's a ton of things on the agenda. We'll have food trucks. We've got camps for your students. So if you're a Classical Conversations family, we are encouraging you to come May 2nd through 4th, 2024. And you can learn more by going to classicalconversationsfoundation.org today. And again, that website is classicalconversationsfoundation.org to get your tickets, and we'll see your family there.
Welcome to Classical Crypto with Will. Recently on national news, CNBC said that the 9 leading financial management companies, these are huge companies led by, Vanguard, BlackRock, all those guys, they are predicting that a Bitcoin ETF will hit Q1 of 2024. Now, this is huge if we can grasp what is happening right now as Web 2.0, paper, fiat, they're trying to bring everything online right now. Crypto is helping with that. So if that ETF gets approved, that is going to do crazy things to the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a lot of the other cryptocurrencies out there. Now, today, I thought it'd be really interesting to analyze ATH and ATL. ATH stands for all-time high, and ATL stands for all-time low. So how do those relate to the Bitcoin halving cycles? What are some of the trends that we can look for? Because at this point, we've gone through 3 cycles. So Bitcoin was birthed in 2008, and it's a 4-year cycle. So after 4 years in 2012, the halving cycle hit. The supply of Bitcoin was cut in half, and we repeated that again in 2016 and again in 2020. And then we're going to hit that 4th halving in 2024 in April, which is coming up. What is that, like 4 months away? It's crazy. So let's analyze some of the data here. And if you are interested in investing in cryptocurrency, not financial advice, you're really going to want to listen and pay attention to some of these dates. Now, these are average numbers, so you need to balance it out, use your own brain before making financial choices. The first halving was on November 28th, 2012. And exactly 1 year and 2 days after that, into 2013, was the all-time high. So that was a year. So after the halving cycle, the price of Bitcoin rose and increased for 1 year, 2 days after that time. The second halving cycle was on July 9th, 2016, and 144 days, so less than half a year after that was the all-time high of Bitcoin. So it hit that all-time high quicker, faster, and then fell dramatically after that. The third halving happened on May 11th, 2020. Now this one was crazy because everything looked normal 336 days after, so again, closer to that first halving cycle. It hit an all-time high, and there was some market manipulation, which dropped the price like 40%, something like that. And then it took another 6 months to get back up, and it was just too far after the halving to really recover, and then everything plummeted again. On average, we're seeing around 3/4 into the year, or 272 days is what it's taking from a halving for Bitcoin to hit that all-time high. So I'm watching that number closely. I invest in Bitcoin and digital assets. So I'm kind of going, cool, I need to watch that closely, that relationship between a halving cycle, the price rising and the price falling. And on average, so far in the first 3 cycles, it's taken 272 days to hit that all-time high before dipping again. So if you decide to invest in crypto, I would keep that number in mind and watch for market indicators around that. Thanks for joining Classical Crypto with Will today. I look forward to 2024 and all our crypto adventures and all the news that we're going to learn. It's going to be a crazy, crazy year. Looking forward to it. Thanks for a great 2023. Signing out.
Thank you for listening to Refining Rhetoric with Robert Bortons. Want more? Make sure to subscribe so you won't miss an episode. You can also follow us on social media to continue the conversation, and visit classicalconversations.com/rhetoric to find out how you can join a local homeschool community.